So, thanks for having me. I'm here because of your recent book, The Weird and Wonderful, Volume 1. So, can you tell us about who you are and how this book came to be?
Sure. You want to go first, Peter?
Sure. My name is Peter. I'm a 6th Dan Go player, and together with Kim we started a project. It was in 2012, I think, which was called Baduk movies. So that was 10 years ago, and we kind of collected material from that project and used it for big parts of this book.
Mm-hmm.
We made more than 200 videos, right? From 2012 to 2015, I think.
Yeah.
It's strange to think that it's 10 years ago, actually.
Yeah, it's 10 years, almost exactly. Yeah.
Baduk movies was something that we really liked, and we focused on unusual ideas often in Go, so strange things that you've never seen or techniques that are kind of out of the ordinary. And that was always what inspired us most in the videos that we made. And then later we decided to create a book out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And we took the best things, or what we thought were the most interesting or best things from Baduk movies, and we put those in book form.
Mm-hmm.
And we also added some material to it. So it's not only from the videos of Baduk movies, but the majority, I would say, comes from the videos. Yeah.
With some elaboration.
Yeah, some elaboration for sure. We explain the moves, of course. We also did that in the videos, but it's more in detail. And also some moves that were in the videos, we found that there's more examples of them from other professional games. Certain rare types of moves, and we also included those in the book.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So you're a 6th Dan player, but when did you start playing? Because to reach 6th Dan, usually start playing at a relatively young age, I guess.
Right, I learned Go from my father. So he, when I was young, he would play chess with me and checkers and also Go. And I didn't really like Go because he always did beat me a bit. He was a first queue player, so he was already quite strong.
Yeah.
But at some point I started enjoying playing against my father because we could kind of have an even game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my first game was when I was 4 years old, but maybe I started playing for real when I was 12 years old, something like that.
Quite young. Yeah.
Yep.
Especially for European standards, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you really have to have a family which plays Go to start that early.
Yeah.
Like for example, you've got Ilya Shiksin, who has a father who's quite a strong Go player.
Yeah, and a sister as well, of course. She's 3 Dan professional in Korea as well.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And you, Kim?
Yeah, so I'm a 4 Dan player. I'm a little bit less strong than Peter.
Mm-hmm.
I started playing in 2004, I believe.
Mm.
I didn't have family that played Go, so I found out, actually coincidentally, my parents had a board game in their house, in the wardrobe. I never knew what it was. It said Go, it had some black and white stones on it and some Asian signs, so it was very mysterious. And I asked my parents, what is this game? And they told me that my mom gave it to my dad as a present because my dad is was a mathematics teacher. But they said, it's a very complicated game and we don't really know how to play it. So one day I decided that I really just want to try, and I played a game against my dad. We looked through the rules and we had no idea what we were doing, but I was intrigued, and then I went online onto the KGS server. I found the Kiseido Go server. And I started playing there, and the rest is kind of history. Go took over my life basically.
Yeah.
A lot of things that I do are related to Go nowadays, and
And because you started playing almost exclusively on the internet, and you started only playing on a real board, so to say, quite late on in your Go career, so to speak, right?
Yes, that's true. I don't remember exactly when I started going to the first Go tournaments. in the Netherlands, but I think I was already around 1Q, 2Q,
Yeah.
1Q maybe.
Yeah.
And by that time I think I was already around 3 dan on KGS.
Yeah.
So for 1Q I think I was already pretty strong.
Yeah. Strong
Yeah,
Dutch first cue.
Yeah.
I think the first time I met Kim was on KGS on the Go server.
Okay.
I think.
Nice.
Yeah, probably. And later
Although we both live in Amsterdam.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but I guess you were then 15 or 16, right? Or
Yeah, I started when I was 15.
yeah.
So I think when I was 1Q I was maybe 17, I
Yeah.
would say, because I wasn't very fast in the beginning.
No.
I wouldn't say that I got to 1Q very fast, but I'm a very persistent guy, so I cannot stand not understanding something.
Yeah.
So I got crushed in the beginning on KGS by everyone, and I didn't understand what was going on. The stones were disappearing, and I just wanted to at least win one game. And once I won that one game, I couldn't stop playing.
Yeah. So you already told us about Baduk movies, but how did that project came to be? I guess you talked about your fascination about weird or interesting or even absurd moves, but how did you want to reach a broader audience, or how did that project came to be?
Well, Peter actually approached me in 2012, maybe early 2012 or late 2011. I already had made a video series for EuroGo TV with Harry Weerheim. And well, Peter and I were friends, and we knew each other already a bit, also through Harry actually. And Peter had the idea to create a website with Go videos and to make it together.
Yeah, so I'm a computer programmer, and I was watching videos about computer programming in a very fun format. So there was a guy who would make one video every week about some programming subject, and that video was then about 5 minutes long or 10. So I was really looking forward to the video every week. Like on Monday morning, the first thing I did was to check out that video. So I kind of got that idea from him to make one video every week about Go. And then it would just be like a short trick or like a tip or something short. And we did that I think until November 2017. We made one video every week. And then we started asking professional Go players to help us. And then we introduced Baduk Movies Pro. And those were lessons made by various professional players. So for example, Alexander Dienerstein made a lot of lessons for us. And Jung-Soon made a lot of lessons for us.
Jung-Soon Yoon.
Yeah.
There's several Korean players, Yeon Young Kim also, Kim Sung-rae.
Yes.
Who else? Well, actually quite a few, but mostly from Korea, I think, because of the name Baduk Movies.
But of course, it's Go itself is a very hard search term in search engines.
Sometimes we got some questions about that, you know, why did you pick Baduk and why not Wei Chi or why not Go? But simply it was a name that, you know, that was handy for the search value, and Go was just not really possible. Like Go movies, I think it already existed, and
I guess in 2017 you stopped, I guess.
I think it was 2015 actually. I think we did it from 2012 until 2015, 3 years. And we were, every week we were recording videos.
Quite intense.
Yeah, it was really a lot of work. I think at our high point we had 80 paid subscriptions.
Okay.
Which allowed us to go to Japan once. We went to the Nihonki in summer camp. But
so when did that idea for a book came to be? Was it like directly after you said we should perhaps stop Baduk movies, or was it something that was simmering for a longer time and only took concrete forms later? Or
Yeah, I think it was. We had an idea, or there was an idea from maybe a year after we stopped the Baduk movies. We talked about it several times, and we wanted to do something with the best of Baduk movies.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of on the shelf for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
I never really had the time to create the book, and then one day we decided to go for it after all and just really stick to it.
Yeah. So how hard is it to find a publisher for your book? Because you published it with Kiseido from Richard Bozelic.
Yes.
Became 86 a couple of days ago. So
Yes.
How was that?
Yeah, so I'm lucky that I have quite a few contacts in the Go world.
Yeah.
I used to work in chess and Go shop Het Paard in
Yes.
Amsterdam, and that is the European distributor you could call for the Kiseido books.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that it was possible to write books for Kiseido and publish them also in Europe via Het Paard. So I contacted Het Paard and they contacted Bozelig. Het Paard also knew about the videos that Peter and I did for Baduk movies.
Mm-hmm.
And Bozelig was also aware of this, and Bozelig was okay in the end with us writing a book. So it went all via this route.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you start writing the book then? Was it in like 2018 or 19, or did you already have some material lying around?
Yes, so we had a lot of the material, but of course not in written form.
No.
So we had to first of all make kind of a selection of the best of Baduk movies, and first of all also figure out what we really wanted to do with the book.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had all kinds of material, but if you just throw everything on one heap and it not necessarily has the same theme,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes an incoherent story. So I think we started September last year, so
Yep.
September 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had a rough idea of
2020, September 2020, I think.
2020. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, September 2020.
Yeah.
So that's 1.5 years
Mhm.
ago. Yes. We had a rough idea of the material we want to include, but this changed quite a bit over the course of the writing process.
Mm-hmm.
So some things didn't end up in the book after all, and other things were included to make it more interesting. Yeah. To kind of, for example, certain topics like double letter breakers. That we had one specific video that was called Top 10 Tesujis of All Time.
Yeah.
I believe, on Baduk movies.
Yeah.
And one of the tesujis in that video was a double letter breaker played by Chochikun, which also is the one that ended up on the cover of the book.
Uh-huh.
And that really inspired us, that tesuji. It was also, I believe, the number one tesuji in that video. So that video was also really fun. It was done in a kind of bombastic American style, where you have these kind of, when you watch the basketball summaries of top 10, now we go to number 10, and then you see. So the video was like that, and then number one was the Chinshinto, the double letter breaker by Chochikun.
Yeah.
And then later, when we decided to include it in the book, we investigated this topic, and we found that there were several other double letter breakers that have been played in history.
Yeah.
It's a very rare move, but in the end we included 3. So not only the double letter breaker by Chochikun, but also 2 others. And this is kind of how the book shaped itself. So we had some highlights from Baduk movies, but then we added to it.
Yeah. Some core elements, and then
Yes.
build around it. Yeah. So I have, of course, some favorites, and mostly because I still hear your voice every time some of the moves are played. Like one of them is the golden rooster standing on one leg.
Right.
I really enjoyed it. You can watch it on YouTube as a short, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
And I can still hear your voice very clearly.
What did you say there?
I think I was pretending to be a rooster.
So reading at least a preview of this book, really brought back some fun memories for me, and
Cool.
really hoping to read it in full, because I've only read the excerpt available. But yeah. So, are there any elements in this book itself that you really like? I mean, we've talked about the double letter breaker in front, but is there a personal favorite besides that, or is that your favorite?
Well, what do you think, Peter?
Well, there. It's kind of the best of Baduk movie, so I kind of like all of it. But there's one chapter about dragons that I like a lot. So you've got something called a two-headed dragon, or a dragon that bites its own tail, and that's a group which goes around another group, and in a magical way makes two eyes by being in that circular state. And there are a few professional games in which this happened. So yeah, those are kind of magical, I think.
Yeah, it's a situation where usually an eye is a false eye, but because the dragon has a circular...
you can't capture it.
Yeah, you can't capture, and the false eye actually becomes a real eye.
Yeah.
So that's quite special. I also like a lot of the material. There's also a chapter about the raccoon dog, the dog's belly. I also have made an artwork about that. What I also really like is the 5 Spectacular Invasion chapter. There's specifically one that is really cool, by Fujisawa Hosai, right?
Yep.
Who invades a moyo like crazily. It seems impossible when you see it, but he actually makes it work. There is so much, it's really difficult to choose, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's also a fun chapter about stones on the first line. So those are Tsuchi's played really at the beginning of the game, where a good move is to play on the first line, and it looks completely crazy, like whoa, why would you play there?
Yeah.
But but it is actually a good move.
Or a chapter about a huge sacrifice, probably one of the biggest sacrifice in a professional game of Go, that actually turns out to be the right way to play, and the professional wins that way. And even a triple ko could have occurred in that game, but the professional decided to not play the triple ko, sacrifice that huge group, and win the game.
Yeah.
So that's also very cool game. It's a famous game as well, but we decided to include it because it's so crazy.
Yeah. Did you look with AI to certain positions, or?
We did use the AI to verify certain things, but we decided not to involve the AI in the book. And that has a specific reason. It's that we think creativity of human Go is what intrigues us. So we really like moves that have been played by human players and that have been thought up by human players.
Yeah.
So sometimes there was a really spectacular move, which the AI said, it's minus 10%.
Yeah.
But we include it in the book anyway because we found it very spectacular.
But there are also many moves in the book that are verified by AI as the best move.
Oh, really?
Which is really cool. And we were debating on if we should include that information, but we decided to leave it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's up for the viewers to check.
Exactly. Yeah. If you want to check which moves the AI had played.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So still something left to study for us.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Let me check. The cover tells us volume 1.
Right.
Is there volume 2 in the works?
Yes. Yeah, we started working on volume 2 already. It will be a series of 3 books probably.
Okay.
It also depends on Bootselich and Kiseido.
Of course.
But volume 2 will be about unusual joseki, trick plays, and maybe techniques you could call them. So certain moves or sequences of moves that you can use in specific situations that are also out of the ordinary.
So, can you give us a sneak peek on that? It's like a 5-5 move by...
Yeah, so we're also still debating on if we should include AI on volume 2.
We have a lot of material which was really cool like 10 years ago,
Yeah,
but kind of is a bit outdated now.
yeah,
But there are still a lot of middle game techniques which still are very relevant. So I think the Josuke part is a bit difficult now.
Yeah.
But I think the middle game techniques, they are
for sure.
more spectacular or more useful to study.
Yeah, yeah. It's difficult to give an example without showing it on the board.
Sure.
But there are certain variations of Josuke that you rarely see. But if you use them, you could really confuse your opponent. And there is, for example, one where if the opponent responds incorrectly, they basically lost the game immediately.
Yeah, sort of trick play, but not really.
Yeah, that's a trick play. That's one of them. But most of the moves in Volume 2, I would say, are just techniques you can apply that probably most people don't know, but are very good in specific situations.
Yes. We need to buy that one to confuse our opponents. Nice. Well, that were my questions. Did you have something you wanted to share before we end?
Well, I hope, or we hope, that you all like the book. We were working hard on it for a year or so. I think personally it's very fun. And I'm proud of the book that we created. So I hope the Go community will enjoy it as well.
Yeah.